It's almost Valentine's Day, so let's talk about some romance books. Hi, I'm Zoe. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a genre that I feel like I don't talk about too much anymore, and that is some contemporary romance. When I was getting back into reading a few years ago, contemporary romance was definitely something that I was leaning towards and is a big reason that I got back into reading, started doing content. And it's also a genre that I very much fell out of love with, which makes me really, really sad because I do feel a very big attachment to romance stories and I love people falling in love. So I'm also hoping with this video, as much as I'm going to give you some recommendations, seeing as though we are in the Valentine's month, that also it reminds me why I love this genre so much. Even just pulling several stacks of books together made me really, really excited to think about romance novels again. I do have some adult romance and some YA romance. I do have one fantasy leaning romance for you as well. And I also have a manga recommendation as well. So I'm hoping to cover a few bases here. This is not an exhaustive list, but yeah, let's get into the books. I am going to start with my queen of romance, and that is Miss Ali Hazelwood. I feel like I could quite confidently do a 45-minute presentation, unprovoked, talking about Ali Hazelwood novels. I have a few of my favourites here, so I'll talk through those. The book that started it all for me is The Love Hypothesis. This is workplace, fake dating, absolutely scrumptious romance. Olive is our main character. She is a PhD student. Her friends are convinced that she needs to find somebody. They're really obsessive about it. Kind of lies to her friend and says she's found somebody and she's fine and she's happy. And in order to convince her friend, she kisses the very first man that she sees in the corridor, and that person just so happens to be Professor Adam Carlson, which was not an ideal choice. Adam is known as a bit of an arse, to be honest. He is not the nicest, not the friendliest. He's very good at his job. People have a lot to say about him. That kind of explains why this couldn't have been a worse pick. It's also a reason why when he agrees to be her fake boyfriend, Olive is completely flawed because he's very out of character. This is the very last person she would expect to agree to a charade like this. And from there, you get one of the most delightful fake dating romances I've ever read. If I do think about romance books, this is the one I think about. They were the blueprint for me. They really were. Ali did a few books in this world and a set of novellas where there's women in STEM falling in love. I also really enjoy in this the way that it looks at women in STEM professions and the issues that they face with co-workers and in a professional setting, the barriers that they come up against and the inappropriate behaviour that they come up against. And I think that was really well done in this one and the rest of them, to be honest. I really appreciate what Ali does with these novels, but then also delivers gorgeous romance storylines. Just really makes you fall in love with them. I honestly adore these two. This one is kind of enemies, rivals to lovers. This is Bea and Levi's story. They're forced to work together on a project, but Bea hates him, and the rest is history. That one was really fantastic. I really enjoyed this. Elsie's story is really interesting. She is a professor by day, and then by night she is a fake girlfriend to people, which was a really, really interesting premise from the very beginning. During one of her fake girlfriend dates, she discovers that the brother of one of her favourite clients is an experimental physicist that completely destroyed her mentor's career and is very much standing in the way of her and her dream job. She was very much hell-bent on professional sabotage, essentially, but their story was really, really interesting. This one wasn't a favourite for me, so I'm not going to talk about it a ton. I do think I owe Bride a reread though, because so many of my friends and mutuals loved this, so I'm like, what is wrong with me? What am I missing? We're following Lo, who is a werewolf, and Misery, who is a vampire, and I just remember thinking that Misery's name was such a slay. I love that for her. And Mate, the second one, I've also seen really well reviewed, so we'll see. I might come back to this one, give it another chance. Not in Love was really different for Ali Hazelwood, I think. This one definitely leans more away from your traditional contemporary romance and more into sort of almost erotica with this one. I do think that the themes of this one were a little bit, I say deeper because I don't think they're darker necessarily, but I really enjoyed this one. This really affected me, particularly Rue's story. Again, it's still in that STEM setting because Rue is a biotech engineer. Eli is the male main character and he works in a business that wants to buy Klein, which is where Rue works. So that's kind of how the two of them come together. These two decide to have a secret affair, no strings attached type thing. But Rue has certain rules about intimacy, and that was really, really interesting. I would go into this, I would check triggers and things, but I wouldn't go into this knowing too much more. I was really surprised by how much of an impact this story had on me. This for me is where I would kind of split Ali Hazelwood's books because I can't choose between this and The Love Hypothesis. I feel like they do things so differently. I would definitely recommend this one, but I don't think it leans super rom-com. I do bear that in mind if you do decide to pick this one up, but it was gorgeous. And a young adult offering from Ali. I would not let the fact that this is YA sway you because this was absolutely delightful. I ate this up. This is a chess romance. You want to talk about sports romances? This was a chess romance. This story follows Mallory and Nolan. So Nolan is a chess champion. He's like the best of the best. And Mallory used to play chess, but is now focused on looking after her siblings and her mum, and is working jobs to keep the bills paid, keep the lights on. But she does agree to play in one charity chess tournament, and that's where she's kind of rediscovered and she's thrown back into the world of chess. But she is trying to keep it a secret alongside maintaining that normal life for her siblings and her mum. And obviously her and Nolan cross paths. I would not let the fact it's YA deter you at all. There was still that feeling that I think we all kind of look for in a rom-com, where you're really rooting for the couple and you want them to be together and you're waiting for that moment where they finally admit their feelings. I really enjoyed the way this story progressed and the insight into the chess world as well. It was so exciting. I really loved that. So yeah, YA offering from Ali Hazelwood. As I say, she is my personal queen of contemporary romance, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else she releases in the years to come, because I can feel it can only get better. Sticking with YA romance for a second, I'm just going to very quickly recommend these two. This first one is My Mechanical Romance by Alex Farrell Falmouth. This is Olivia Blake, if you don't know her by her real name. This is a YA rom-com, 2 students at engineering school, and they meet on the robotics team, and this was really cute, really fun. I love the robotics side of it. I just remember having so much fun with this, and it is as cute as the cover suggests. This was really fun. I'm putting this on this list because I do believe that this is a love story and is deeply impactful, and I honestly can't talk about this book a whole lot because it left me crying so hard I thought I was going to be genuinely unwell. This is You've Reached Sam by Dustin Tao. I don't know what Dustin Tao was doing. He did not kiss the brick before he threw it. So this book follows 17-year-old Julie and Sam. Julie has got everything planned out. She knows what life's going to look like. She knows that Sam's going to be part of it. They're both going to leave their small town. They're going to go live in the city. They've got all these big plans, and Sam dies. That's not a spoiler. That's the premise. Sam dies and Julie is left completely bereft, grieving Sam, the love of her life, but also the life that they could have had, the life she's been planning for, the life she's been working towards, and she's grieving all of that. Julie calls his phone because she wants to listen to his voicemail message just to hear his voice, and Sam picks up. The connection is very temporary. She kind of becomes addicted to calling his phone and speaking to him, and this was just a devastating novel, but also one of the most gorgeous stories about grief I think I've ever read. Julie becomes so disconnected from the people around her because she's so connected to this voice on the phone. When she's speaking to Sam, she's so connected to him and she can't let go of him. She's losing those connections in real life, and seeing her journey, grieving and learning that the love is still there. It's not that she never loved him. It's not that she can't still love him, but going through that grief was absolutely extraordinary. There's so many little things in this story that you realise is her sort of letting go and reconnecting with the people around her. I know I'm a menace for putting this on this list, but I do think that this is one of those stories that just makes you believe in love again, I guess. That's why I'm putting this on. Do not come to me when you cry, because you will. All the way through. Now on to my other queen of romance, who I have had the pleasure of meeting, and she is exactly as you would expect her to be. She is happiness in a person. She's so silly and so funny, and I was obsessed with her. This is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. I read this, I think, a week after I read The Love Hypothesis. I read them pretty close together, and this, again, cemented my love for contemporary romance, for rom-coms, and for this one in particular, again, fake dating. Lena's sister is getting married, so she's going to Spain to go to the wedding, and a little white lie has spun out of control, and Lena is expected to be bringing her new boyfriend to this wedding so her family can meet him for the first time. But of course, this boyfriend is completely fictional, so she's going to have to face the embarrassment of turning up without a boyfriend. This is where Aaron Blackford comes into the picture. Some people describe this as enemies to lovers, and I don't think that's quite right. Personally, I don't think this is strong enough for enemies to lovers in terms of the dislike between them. Aaron is one of her co-workers, is an absolute pain in the arse. She doesn't like him. She finds him difficult to work with. He very much rocks the boat in her little lie when, and this is the first line of the book, "I'll be your date to the wedding. I like a man that goes after what he wants." This was spectacular. They seemingly don't like each other. They don't get on in the office. How is this going to work? How are they going to pull it off? The lengths that this man goes to pull off this facade is genuinely spectacular. The bar was truly raised when Aaron Blackford was created. This was gorgeous. I believed every page. I believed every word. It was silly and funny. Lena's family are hysterical. That was some of the funniest stuff I've read in this book, was Lena's family. They are brilliant. But the interactions between Aaron and Lena were absolutely gorgeous. I loved them. Probably next to The Love Hypothesis as one of my favourite contemporary romance reads, if not one of my favourite books, to be honest. I reread it just before I went to meet her, and it was just such a reminder of why I love this genre. The American Roommate Experiment is a second book in the same world as The Love Hypothesis, and it follows Lena's co-worker, Rosie. Rosie was really fun in the first book. I really enjoyed her, so it was great to see more of her. This is another kind of silly circumstance thing. Lena has told Rosie she could live in the studio. When Rosie goes over to the studio, she then also finds out that Lena has promised the studio to her brother, Lucas, kind of like best friend's brother situation. Lucas suggests that they just share it, make the most of it. They both need to live here. They both need to kind of get on with it. From there, sparks fly. I really liked this one. This was fun. I do think the Spanish Love Deception is slightly stronger, but I did also really like this one. If you prefer more of a slow burn, and I mean a slow burn, they don't kiss until 80% of the way through the book slow burn, I introduce you to Mariana Zapata. I have read more than these. I just grabbed these before they changed the covers when they were traditionally published because I really did not like the traditional covers. Two of them are sports-ish romances, and then one of them is just gorgeous. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me is a football, like American football romance. Vanessa is assistant housekeeper, general fairy godmother to a really high up football player. Vanessa quits her job because she has different ideas for what she wants to do with her life, and then is pretty shocked one day to find Aidan Graves stood at her door begging her to come back. In all the time that she's worked with him, he's never really spoken to her. She doesn't know him personally very well. What she does know is how much he needs her, and he's obviously realised that in her absence, how much he relied on her. And that's kind of where this one starts off, and I wasn't sure when I read the premise of this that I could buy into two people in that kind of situation falling in love or getting together. I guess I just wasn't convinced, and let me tell you I was wrong, because this was absolutely gorgeous. There are so many gorgeous scenes in this book, really lovely moments between the two of them, and you really see the growth of their characters and their relationship, and it was just gorgeous. The slow burn was so worth it. I know this is a bit chunky for a contemporary romance, but I beg if you stick with it. It was so worth every single page. I love this one. From Lukov with Love is an ice skating romance. So you have Jasmine Santos and Ivan Lukov. Jasmine knows that the window for her professional career is really coming to a close. She doesn't have long to kind of win big, but she is given one last chance with a new ice skating partner, and that is Ivan Lukov, which for her is the worst situation ever because she hates him, he hates her. This could never possibly work. Let me tell you, it works. It's so good. This again really surprised me, and I was so invested in them. I have such a vivid memory of sitting in my sister-in-law's back garden, dog sitting, reading this book and just having the most sensational time with it. The payoff in this book with the slow burn was so good. I honestly can't say that enough. Ice skating, what we learn about Jasmine's family, what we learn about Ivan, he is so interesting. Just another one, spectacular. All roads lead here. By the time I got to this one, I knew what I was in for with Miss Mariana Zapata, at least I thought I did. This one again managed to surprise me. Aurora is our main character, and she moves back to the small town where she grew up and she was raised, and that holds really painful memories for her when it comes to her mum. She moves into a rental to find out it was never actually supposed to be listed as a rental property, and the son of the landlord had listed it because he knew they kind of needed the money and it was sat there empty. The landlord does agree to let her stay. He is super grumpy, doesn't really talk, he kind of just ignores that she exists, but all she knows is he's very handsome, single dad. You can see the dots coming together here. This was, again, gorgeous, but in a completely different way that the other two were. The journey of healing for both of these main characters was absolutely delightful to read. It was painful and it was difficult, but it was just, again, the payoff with this story was so worth the investment. Again, it's a longer novel. Such a gorgeous read. I had a lovely time with this one and with this author. There is something about a Casey McQuiston book that is just so fun. Red, White and Royal Blue is so silly, so fun, and I had such a great time with this. You have the son of the first woman president of the US and a Prince of England who end up in a bit of a difficult situation, which causes some political unrest, and the two of them are kind of told to, you know, professionally sort it out. You need to get on. Publicly, you need to look like your friends. And of course, the two of them begin to have a bit of a fling, and it's all secret and they're getting to know each other. This was absolutely hysterical at times, and also deeply powerful in the way that the two of them are kind of having to pretend to be someone they're not, particularly Henry, but also Alex. He has to protect his image and his mother's image as well in the run-up to another election. If you don't want to put in the time to read this, or you can't read this, definitely check out the show as well. The adaptation was really fun. One Last Stop is a gorgeous sapphic romance with a little bit of like magical realism to it. It was really, really interesting. August has moved to the city and I think kind of expected to be swept off her feet by New York and fall in love and have, you know, have this really big like New York big city experience. On her commute on the subway, she sees this beautiful, impossible woman called Jane. In my opinion, for the best enjoyment of this story, that is all I would know, is that they meet on a subway. If that is the case and you wish to be surprised, skip to the next segment. I will have all the timestamps below. If you want to know a little bit more, I will go into that now. The problem with Jane is that she's actually on a displaced timeline, so she's not from now, she's from 1970 and she's stuck on the train. And as impossible as this sound, August still finds herself really drawn to Jane and to get to know her and to get to know how she could have possibly ended up in this situation. That whole arc of them trying to work out how and why was just so gorgeous to read, and I just love August and Jane and their dynamic. The last third of this book absolutely rocked me to my core. I didn't really know how it was going to end. I didn't know where it was going to go, but it was truly fantastic. I would definitely recommend giving this one a go. This is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I would 100% recommend Kimberly Lemming's Mead Mishaps. So this is the first book and the only one I own physically. I have read the second book and there's a novella in between these as well, which I think is like a festive special from memory. They were all really fun. Our main character saves a demon from a drunken stupor and discovers his mission to kill a witch that's enslaved his people. And our main character is dragged along for the ride. Honestly, the fantasy elements of this were really great. I enjoyed the plot with the demons and the witch and things. That was genuinely quite fun. The writing in this is so funny. Like the comedy is genuinely very, very good. I love the banter between them. This is steamy. This is definitely like spice forward, I would say. This was just a wild time, and I think at the right time I would definitely come back and finish this. I think I have one or two more to read, and these covers are absolutely exquisite. Like, look at them. Aren't they gorgeous? Just, yeah. Last up, I'm going to recommend a manga. This is A Sign of Affection. So gorgeous. I've probably used that word 50 times in this video, but it's true. This is about Yuki, who is a college student and also happens to be deaf. The way she navigates around the world is really interesting, and you kind of see that through the story. And a chance meeting on a train leads her to meet this gorgeous man. This is where she meets Itsuomi, and he is a very interesting character, actually. He kind of takes her by surprise, and he's also really into learning languages. He's very well travelled. He goes all over. For all of his love of travel and learning languages so he can communicate while he's on his travels, he's never had a deaf friend before. And the two of them immediately feel very drawn to each other and decide to go on a date. It's such a gorgeous story and shows again the lengths that some men will go to for the woman that they're interested in. It was so cute and so wholesome and just such a gorgeous representation as well, I think, of accommodations, but the efforts you can go to someone in your life that experiences the world differently to you. You also get to see a lot of Yuki's friends as well, who are concerned that she's just going to get herself hurt. He can't possibly be interested in her properly, you know, all of those kind of things that you would see from a really protective friend group that kind of see her as being someone that needs protecting all the time. It's really great in this story to see her become more independent as their relationship and dynamic kind of changes. I think this is also a really great entry into manga if you've never read a manga before. I really enjoyed the way this one reads. I think the images are absolutely beautiful. The illustrations are just so gorgeous. There is also an anime adaptation of this as well, which is really good. So that's some of my favourites that I've read. I can't say that this is a Valentine's TBR because I know in my heart of hearts I'm not in the mood for romance right this second, but I'll take you through some that I do have on my TBR anyway. I truly do believe I am the last person to read an Emily Henry book. I know, criminal. I haven't read one yet. If you've read any Emily Henry, where should I start? Which should be the first that I pick? These are the three that I have. Tell me where to begin, and I will at some point. I also have, the Waterstone stickers on it. It's fine. I have Ophelia After All, which I believe is a YA sapphic romance, which just, it sounded really cute. This cover is beautiful as well. So, you know me, pretty cover. It's going to happen. The Henna Wars is another YA sapphic romance and has a bit of a rivalry as well, so I'm really excited for this one. And again, I might be the last person to read this. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Chloe is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. She asks for the help of Red and his motorcycle to help her fulfill her dreams with this list, and it just sounds absolutely delightful. From what I've seen, this is a real favourite amongst the romance community, so I, again, at some point very much look forward to reading this. I have absolutely no idea how long I yapped through all of those. This is going to be so long to edit, but it's all in the name of romance recommendations for Valentine's Day, or for any time really. I feel like a romance is one that can just slot into any time of year really, and be something that we can enjoy. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please do let me know in the comments any of your favourite romance reads, because as I say, I do need to find my way back, so maybe I will. You'll inspire me. If you enjoyed this video, please do remember to like and subscribe so you can be notified when I next upload. All that to say, hopefully I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, happy reading. Bye.